identify yourself with greatness. One of the best ways to do that is to understand what greatness means. And as far as I'm concerned, it means to be you to the full, to be beautiful. That means to know and be who you really are. And when you are around others who know who they are, that's a very empowering situation for all. And what happens is people identify, just like in movies, people will identify, or in a play or a story or a book, you somehow say, well, I take on those characteristics. And remember, you're taking on those characteristics. And by wanting to identify with them, it's not about copying, but what is it that they have that you would like to manifest? And to greatness is to know and be who you really are. And then you find that you're living in the divine, the place where there's all knowledge and all wisdom, all knowing, and that you are whole, complete, and perfect as you are. Nothing is missing and fully operational. You do not evolve. And it is the realization and the activation of who we really are. So how we do that, like for me, there's in the study of through books of the knowledge that I was interested in because of what I wanted to do in my life or how I wanted to feel, and I wanted to feel good. And I had things that I liked to do, music and sports and theater and service and, in doing things. And so I would read about people who were doing what I wanted to be doing. And you would find that, and to me what I found is that if one person can do something, then really anyone can. If they desire that and they focus on that and they bring forth that ability and talent by doing that and using that, but not as a comparison or to be like that other person, because then what happens is we're judging ourselves and we're shutting ourselves down from our creative expression because we're not good enough. So when we identify with criminals, we identify with angry, hostile people, you identify with people who are suffering, you identify with all of this, then you take on that energy and you take on that consciousness because you're believing you are this, so therefore that becomes your reality and how you feel, what you do, and what happens. So for me, as I have on my path, then when I've read the books or studied with people who had the knowledge and the realization that I desired, that as I was going, it was improving my quality of being, my knowing who I am, my self-expression, and all of this, and it was answering questions, and I would get to a point always where, well, that was that for that step on the ladder, but there must be more of true knowledge, and that to me was a correct use of the word more, not about more blah blah blah, but to have not even the more, but the real knowledge, the fullness of the knowledge, to be able to for the best for us. And as I started watching, what is the main thing? The people dying, people lack and loss and suffering, and all of this drama that's going on. And then as I got led more and more to then into the teachings of the Vedas, of the teachings of Yeshua and the Essenes, and each of these helping me to come to the realization that anyone who has been a teacher, a prophet, such, is a person that is saying, hey, if I can do this, so can you. It's not about, they all have this power out there, but you don't have it. But the problem is, we're programmed to believe that real power means that you're really out there in a big way somehow, when you find that the greatest beings oftentimes live almost entirely by themselves in the joy and the pleasure of their inner world. And at the same time, they would sing and dance and be, and that there's a story of one called Rasikananda, a saint from India. And when his mother was pregnant with him, the whole town prospered, and there was beauty and joy everywhere. And even when he showed up, and then when he showed up, and all the things that he did, and the taming of a wild elephant, and how people were healthy and vital and magnificent around him, and you could see the power really that one person has. And that's why so much of what's coming at us is to stay outer directed all the time, because that's going to give you what it is that we would call greatness. It isn't about, how many kids say, well, I want to be a great basketball player or a football player, or I'm going to be a great, singer or this, but you have to look at this and it goes, are you a great person? And you don't need any of that to be who you are and to experience the joy of your own being. And that's called self-love. Not that I don't have to love Terry, and Terry is a label. No, because I am love. It's me feeling that and caring and tuning in, listening, being in nature. That's why we do this here, because this is where I like to be. One time I like to be on the stage, and one time I like to wear high heels, and one time I like to wear designer clothes, and one time I like to travel the world and do this. This is what I like. That's it. And this is what all of it brought me to. And to really then study and learn, what are you going to do when you leave your body? So you want to leave it before you leave it. You got it? And what that means, by being who you really are, you never leave yourself. And by developing that loving relationship with your God within, you start to recognize who others are for that. You also keep to yourself more, in the sense of building your relationship with the divine. And then you go, when you're with others, hey, when you identify with greatness, you can read about greatness and start studying the lives of great people. And what it really is you can do it. And it doesn't matter if anyone else agrees or anyone else even ever shows up. Or they do. Because you're doing what you love. You're being who you are. Yeah. And all is consciousness. And you have the consciousness of the divine. It living in the spiritual realm, in beauty and harmony and love and the ever increasing abundance of your own beingness.